Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest questions in real estate. How much do you actually need for a down payment on a house? Forget everything you think you know. We're going to break down the real numbers and the best ways to make it happen.
And just so you know, all this great info comes straight from the pros over at Real Estate Rank IQ.
So let's get right to it. That age-old rule. You know the one that says you absolutely have to save 20% for a down payment. What if I told you that's probably the biggest myth in all of real estate?
Yeah, it's a big no. It's not even close, honestly. The truth is, tons of people are buying homes with as little as 3 to 5% down. The only catch? Well, if you put down less than 20%, you'll probably have to pay for something called mortgage insurance. But don't worry, we'll get to exactly what that is in a bit. Okay, so if 20% is out the window, what are people actually paying? Let's look at the real numbers because they might just surprise you.
9%. Seriously, that's it? That's the median down payment for first-time homebuyers in 2024. Not 20, we're talking less than half of what that old, outdated rule says you need.
And you know, this isn't some kind of lucky accident. It's actually by design. There are specific loan programs out there created to help you buy a home with as little as 3% down or 3.5%, and believe it or not, in some cases, with zero, zilch, nothing down at all.
Let's put this into real-world money, because that's what matters. Check this out. On a $300,000 house, 3.5% down is just $10,500. The old 20% rule, that would be $60,000. That's a nearly $50,000 difference. And that's the difference between buying a home this year or maybe waiting 5 more years to save up.
So, how do you get these low down payments? Well, it all comes down to the type of loan you get. Let's walk through the main options so you can figure out which one is the right path for you.
All right, first up, we've got conventional loans. These are the ones you hear about most often, but they're way more flexible than people think. A lot of them now have options for just 3% down, and they're usually aimed right at helping first-time buyers break into the market.
Then you have FHA loans. Now, these are a huge help if your credit score isn't, absolutely perfect. If you've got a FICO score of 580 or higher, you can often qualify for just 3.5% down. And hey, even if your score is a little lower, between 500 and 579, there's still a path forward. It just means you'll need 10% down instead. And now for the real game changers, the zero down payment loans. You heard that right. First, there are VA loans, which are an incredible benefit for eligible veterans and active service members. Then there are USDA loans for people buying in certain rural or suburban areas. Both of these can be your ticket to homeownership with absolutely nothing down.
Okay, but there's got to be a catch, right? Well, kinda. There is a trade-off. If you're putting down less than 20%, you really need to get familiar with something called mortgage insurance.
So that trade-off is called private mortgage insurance, or PMI for short. The easiest way to think about it is it's just an extra fee that gets tacked onto your monthly mortgage payment. And here's the most important part. It's there to protect the lender, not you. It's basically the cost of being able to buy a house with less cash up front. So what's this going to cost you? Well, a pretty good rule of thumb is to expect to pay somewhere between $30 and $70 a month for every $100,000 you borrow. So let's say you have a $300,000 loan. You would be looking at an extra $90 to maybe $210 on top of your payment each month. But what if you want to get that down payment saved up even faster? Good news, there are some really smart shortcuts you can take. Let's run through 4 great ways to accelerate things. Number 1, gift funds. Your family can actually gift you part or even all of your down payment. Number 2, DPA programs. You gotta look for local down payment assistance programs. These can be grants or forgivable loans, basically free money. Third, and you wanna be careful with this one, you can tap into your retirement, like with a 401k loan. And fourth, negotiate. Ask the seller to help with closing costs. Every dollar they cover is a dollar you don't have to spend, freeing it up for your down payment.
Whew, okay, that was a ton of info. So, what do you do next? Let's boil it all down into a simple action plan.
All right, here are your 4 steps. First, run your credit, like right now. This is the key that tells you what you actually qualify for. Second, weigh the cost of PMI. Really ask yourself, is paying a little extra each month worth getting into a house now instead of waiting? Third, start researching those DPA programs immediately. Seriously, that money can be first come, first served. And finally, talk to lenders. Don't just go with the first one you find. Compare options from at least 2 different places to make sure you're getting a great deal.
Look, if you want to stop guessing and find out what your numbers really look like, the best place to go is Real Estate Rank IQ. Just head to their site, put in your price range and your credit score, and you'll get a personalized estimate. No fluff, no sales pitch, just the facts you need.